When the day came, it was morning when they met. Hello.
Hello.
First of all, I want you to introduce my name, Cinderella.
Hello, much pleasure.
Hello.
You know, I would like to propose an invitation to walk in the forest.
Good on a fateful day.
Cinderella, you will be with us for anything. Hello, Cinderella. I present to my girl, Anastasia and Drizella.
Cinderella started to make life miserable for the stepmother and stepsisters. But one day, she went too far.
Get girls, at some point you will open the door. Ready, girls, we can go out. But first, let's look at the dresses we will wear today. But what he has done with the dresses? We'll go to the show to say how Cinderella really is. Wait, we have to tell you that Cinderella is evil.
She has made our life like a hell.
She only tells lies.
I'm so sorry for all the trouble that I missed.
That's better. I understand how you feel at the time.
Hello, my name is Yv, and this is my cat. He doesn't have a name, but just got a black cat.
I am not your cat.
Well, technically you're feral, but that's okay.
To the point.
This is Caroline's other side mother, Beldam, and this is Caroline's other side dad, Charlie. Oh, and I forgot Caroline. That's just Caroline. Beldam was always only present. She only lived with her bugs. So she decided to create a perfect world where she had a husband, a beautiful garden, and a nice house. Many years passed where everything was quiet. But again, Beldam got tired of the quietness. Until something came through a small door that was never expected. It was a girl. At that moment, Beldam knew that was what she was looking for to fill the void on her heart. And that was Caroline, the blue-headed girl.
Привет. Beldam says in Russia. Caroline was scared and confused of the woman who looked the same as her mother but bottom eyes.
How are you?
Hi, kid.
How are you? And why do you look like my mom?
Caroline tells the woman how did she get there. The woman invites Caroline to eat a delicious food that she made.
I'll be back in a second. Bellam goes to his husband, Charlie Jones, and tells her about Caroline.
Who's Caroline?
The girl we've been waiting for.
How did she get here?
She had a lot of problems with her family and then found a little jar. She went to ask his friends, Wavy and his black cat. They told her to leave if she wasn't happy there, and his friends told her that she could see them there too. She went to the door and that took her there.
We could keep her since she doesn't like it there. Maybe the buttons we've been waiting for a long time.
Beldam denies very fast and says she can't stay because she doesn't belong here. She had a family on this side that could be worried about it.
But what they didn't know is that Caroline was hearing everything they were talking about. She runs and started saying,
Please, let me stay. I hate you. I want to be here with you guys.
After some hours, Charlie shows his magical garden to Caroline, where he started doing a beautiful show with this and his amazing voice. But sometimes not everything turns like we wanted, right? Caroline started to show a little bit creep out. The show finished, and Caroline really wanted to leave, but don't know how to say it. After a while, a thing came out of her mouth.
I really love everything, and I would love to stay, but I really have to go.
Come on, Caroline, your mom and I wouldn't want you to leave.
You are not my real parents. Leave me alone.
Caroline runs as fast as she can, but she bumps into someone. It was Beldam, the lovely woman that protected her from Charlie.
After a week of that crazy journey, Caroline tried to forget everything about the other world, begging that door. Caroline was fine and she was happy that she was back, but Charlie and Beldam wasn't. They missed her so much.
I kinda miss Caroline. She was really smart and a special kid. Bring her back.
I can't do that, but I have an idea. Beldam's idea was to make Caroline boot out of bags.
Greta was a puppy rescuer who was widely rumored. One of those many rumors was that she mistreated her animals by making coats with their skins.
Day by day, Greta was treated like a crazy woman because in those times, it wasn't common for people to have half and half hair.
Greta was going to meet up with her only two friends to celebrate her birthday, the Wicked Queen and Malefica. She was going to have dinner with them.
When she was in her way, she found a stray dog with sad eyes. She felt pity for the dog, so she decided to take him with her. This wasn't new because every time she sees a stray dog, she rescued them.
At the time she left the puppy, a group of people got close because they knew what she's going to do with the puppy.
Get away from that poor animal, you witch!
But I just wanted help. What are you talking about?
Greta was upset. She was just trying to help, and suddenly they took the dog away.
I'm taking the dog with me, Witch. Get away from him.
But why?
We already know what you're gonna do with him.
At that, one of Greta's friends, Malefica, arrived and began to hit those people with her magic stick.
Run! The witch's friend who's also a witch arrived!
And don't come back, or I'll turn you into lizards.
When the woman released the puppy, it fell ill, breaking his paw.
Greta picked him up, ready to help him and take him home, but first they had to go to bed.
Luckily, she had moved to have a bed near her home. This was going to help her a lot when she brought pets to be cured.
1 month later,
it's been a month since what happened with the puppy. Greta couldn't celebrate her birthday that day, so she was celebrating it today, this time with her new pet.
Taquito. That was the name she had decided to give him.
She was very happy. Everyone could say that this is the best birthday she has ever had, along with her friends and Taquito.
The end.
My name is Obito Shiha and Yodel Akatsuki because I read the ninja world is what wrong. When I was crushed in the rock said in Ushiha mother I would open my eyes. I read that there is no space in this world and this the reality. Implanted in a fake body in destroyed jet parts. When I recovered I went to see my crush ring and found out that she didn't, because they implanted the 3 tails beads to destroy the BF of Konoha, and didn't do so that will not happen. On my wedding me little Itachi had him a help. That Itachi Ayan went to Akatsuki to Korea again due to that will prevent more than. But I realized that shield me and I give my life save for the ninjas.
Thanos, savior of the universe. The universe was in chaos and fear for the arrival of Planet Destroyer Hulk, a green humanoid monster with a great rage. Many have tried to stop him, but it was useless because he was getting stronger for the planets he destroyed. But there was one planet that he will never wish to destroy, the planet Titan. The only survivor was the General Thanos, who will have his revenge against the Hulk. And to make his revenge, he will obtain the heart of the universe, a astral power. With this power, he will become one of the most powerful beings of the universe. So, he will defend it. The heart of the universe was created by the supreme being of the universe to create an imbalance of the universe to the good and evil. The one who has the heart of the universe are the celestial order, a race of aliens that wants an absolute order to this. They search for beings from all the universe to give them portion of their power. The celestial order was in the center of the universe, but first Thanos will need to get the power of the beings that have the portion of their powers. The first place he was gonna go was to pass Egypt on the year 1300 before Christ, where Akhenaton, a pharaoh, was given a lot of the power, but Thanos would fight and defeat him with some difficulties.
Now that he has that power, he only needs to defeat the Order. It was a long battle, but Thanos won easily. This power he could defeat Hulk, but when he didn't know where he was and where he would appear, but something made a hork noise in a tip and hit Warhawk. Thanos tried to stop him from destroying the tip, and there was no chance getting the tip in one piece. They crashed on a navy planet to start the fight. The fight ran into Earth, other crashing, making an expansive wave. The Thanos uttered a laser of great magnitude, but Hulk resisted without flinching. Hulk used a powerful push that made Thanos fly far away, but Thanos used a light shield that he launched into Hulk, getting a direct hit to face, making Hulk bleed. Then the void clutched, where Thanos noticed a weak spot in a chest. He makes as quickly as possible a spurt of Link launched into Hulk, hitting the chest. The Hulk transformed into Bruce Banner. Thanos hit with chest and put hit in a giant spirited of light. he transported him to a cosmic hell so he could never leave.
Start when my mom told me that I had to go to Howard. When the day was closed, we went to Diagon Alley to buy all the things I was going to need. I bought my wand, it made of yew and with a phoenix feather cord. When we were about to go home, a man killed my mother with some green spill. I was completely alone. Then Dumbledore appeared and he picked me up and took me to Howard. When we arrived at Howard, there were many children in the hall. They entered and began the sorting ceremony. I was sorted in Slytherin. A few days after I entered Howard School, I made a friend named Hadri, who was characterized by his height, and his house was Gryffindor. In my 2 first years at Howard, it was good except for the fact that the transformations teacher, Albus Dumbledore, treated me badly in front of the whole class.
In my 3rd year at Hogwarts, I had potion class with Professor Trabajos, and I really liked his class. Weeks later, I started to think about how to find my mother's mother, so I decided to go to ask the potions teacher how to go back in time. He said that there exists an object called a time turner, and you can travel in time with it. And I came up with an idea. It was to go back to the past and see who killed my mother. But first I had to know what it was. I found a book and I read a little more about it and saw that it said that it could be at Hogwarts. So I talked to Hagrid about the subject and he told me that the headmaster, Professor Tippett, could have it. After thinking about a plan for many months and finding out where the time turner was. In the middle of the night, I went to the principal's office and I used a spell, called it Alohomora. When I started to look for the object, I heard some steps from outside, and I hid under a table. While I was there, I was still looking for the object, when I fell down by accident and I crushed myself with a shelf on the wall, so suddenly a secret passage opened and the time turner was there.
It was inside a sort of glass shaped as a cube. I put it out and a kind of alarm started to sound so loudly. I went to my room, running as fast as I could because I had the time turner in my pocket. Then the teachers called us to go to the Great Hall to be safe, but nobody except for me knew what was going on. When they realized what happened, they started to check every student at Hogwarts. When I was about to be checked, I used the time turner and went back in time. I appeared in Diagon Alley when my mother was still alive. When I saw her, I wanted to cry, but a hooded man distracted me. The moment the man put out his mask, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. The same man who had taken me to Hogwarts was the same man who had killed my mother, Albus Dumbledore.
When I found out, I went back to the present and the first thing I did was going to find Dumbledore. I found him and I asked him if he could accompany me to a room, and he said yes. He asked me why I beat him, and I asked him why he killed my mother. He answered nervously that he didn't. but I knew he was lying. I repeat the question, and this time he told the truth. He said that he murdered my mom because I was the heir of Slytherin and he wanted my power. Suddenly, Professor Dippet appeared and he said that he heard all that Dumbledore said. Dumbledore got arrested for his actions. Lately, I began to gather friends who helped me in my goals and were 100% loyal to me. Years later, I returned to Hogwarts, wanting to teach and give good advice. When I arrived at Hogwarts, I was received by Professor Dippet, and he told me that Dumbledore had died in Azkaban. He deserved it. I was very happy when I heard it. Dippet gave me the positions to teach defense against dark arts. I was very happy, warning the students that it was a dangerous art. I was teacher for many years.
I am feeling very bad today.
Tell me, what is your favorite hobby?
I wish to be a writer.
A writer of what?
Of my dreams.
That clown have a name?
I don't know. It just is.
Tell me about another dream.
It was strange. It was a shining.
Stan, bring me a notebook.
Stan, where's my coffee?
Stan, I'm hungry.
I was thinking that you could help me with some pitches.
Jack and Joe left the company, and I think that you can replace them.
What do you think about Stanley?
Stanley comics are trash. My comics only offer quality. Stan, the comics are not selling enough. I need you to focus.
I'm Jessica Rowling, and this is Joanne Rowling's story, My Mom. She was a writer, better known as J.K. Rowling. They teased her for writing. My father threw her out of the house when he found out about the pregnancy.
Mommy! What happened, darling? Joanne created a new star for me. It's fabulous. Oh, really? Listen to me, Joanne. You're gonna be the best waiter the world has ever known.
Your mother has multiple sclerosis. I'm so sorry.
Harry Potter. You will have liked this story, Mom. Open the door, Joanne! I'm out. Writing Harry Potter is the only escape that I have from this reality.
There are certainly not so many men of large fortune in the world as there are pretty women to deserve them.
The person, be it a gentleman or lady, who has no pleasure in a good novel, must be intolerably stupid.
Hi, Aunt Jane. What stories do you have for today?
One man's style must not be the rule of others.
Huh, there's nothing like staying at home for real comfort.
Nothing ever fatigues me but doing what I do not like.
There are as many forms of love as there are moments in life. To sit in the shade on a fine day and look upon verdure is the most perfect refreshment.
Nobody minds having what is too good for them.
The more I know of the world, the more I'm convinced that I should never see a man who I can really love. I require so much.
Happiness in marriage is entirely a matter of chance.
I hate to hear you talk about old women if they were fun ladies instead of rational creatures. None of us want to be income wearers all our lives.
The people want to know her name.
Hi, today we're talking about Stephen King or Richard Bachman. Occasionally his pseudonym. Okay, Stephen King, born on September 21 of 1947, he's an American writer of horror novels and supernatural fiction, mystery, or science fiction, but sometimes it's fantasy literature. He won a critical acclaim with his first novel, Carrie, in 1974, which I was followed about The Shining.
Little pig, let me come in. Not by the hair on your chin. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff.
In 1977, which earned him great international prestige. Some of his best-known books are It, that would be released in 1986, Misery in 1987, and Insomnia in 1994.
You gonna say hello? Oh, come on, Bucko. Don't you want a balloon?
I'm not supposed to take stuff from strangers. My dad said.
These are some of the biggest hits. His effective and direct style of his great ability to highlight the most disturbing aspect of everyday life. He made him the best-selling specialist in horror literature. Although he also made forays in fantasy and science fiction genre. In science genre. Authors of stories and script television, many of his novels have been taken to a cinema, like It on 1990, on 1990, on 2017, It Chapter 2 in 2019, The Shining in 1998.
I don't think that's true. I think you have some very definite ideas about what should be done with Danny, and I'd like to know what they...
Isaac Asimov was born in 1920 in Petrusit, USSR. At the age of 3, his father emigrated from the Soviet Union to the United States in 1923. He spent his childhood living in Brooklyn, where he taught himself how to read. He never learned to speak Russian. He began writing at a young age. At the age of 19, he began publishing his science fiction stories in fiction magazines called pulps.
He started his literary career at the 30 years with the book I, Robot, The Steel Gates in the 51s, Foundation, which won a Hugo Prize in the 66, The Own Gods, which won a Hugo and a Nebula Prize in the 73s, Limits of Foundation on the 83s, which won a Hugo Prize the same year, and his last book, Gold, published in 91.
And suddenly, in 1977, Asimov suffered a heart attack. In December 1993, he underwent into a cardiovascular surgery, in which they performed a triple coronary bypass. During the operation, a blood transfusion was performed, which turns out to be contaminated with HIV virus.
Put! Ah! Put! Ah! One more. Ah!
Congratulations, it's a boy.
Oh, my dear son, my dear Johnny.
Hello, Dad. How are you? I hope you get well soon. Goodbye, and I love you.
He's been through many losses. He went through many changes in his life.
He met the love.
What are these grades? This is unacceptable.
John, what is this?
Let me explain.
No! She's a distraction for you! Eric, get out of the
And
house!
he loses it. He studied. And reached the top.
He tried to get back with his ex-girlfriend.
and they married. He wrote the famous book, The Lord of Rings, one of the best books in the history of literature. He died at the age of 81. That's why we named him the Lord of Rings.
Born on July 31, 1965, in Yale, United Kingdom, is one of the most famous and rich writers of the world. Because of her father's job, she lived in lots of places. After a short time in Yale, she wrote her first story at the age of 6, called Rabbit. After her graduation, she got into the University of Exeter to study French. Working at International Amnesty, she found out that what she was doing wasn't what she wanted to do the rest of her life. So she moved to Oporto, Portugal, to teach English. While she was waiting for a Manchester-London train, she had the idea that was going to change her life completely. Her most famous saga, Born Here, a story about an orphan kid who had a special and weird characteristic. This story is about an orphan boy who lives with his bitter uncles who treat him like a servant. One day, this boy received a very peculiar letter that invited him to a wizarding school. After his uncles refused, he went to this school anyways. Here, he would find out more about his deceased parents and to be the greatest magician of all time.
When she started writing her second book, she had a crisis because she said it was awful. Because she wasn't familiar with money or journalists, so she felt a lot of pressure. This saga has some elements that refer to her life. Her depression is reflected on the Dementors, and their protagonist's last name is the last name of a childhood friend. In these books, she decided to use just her initials, because if she showed who she really was, people wouldn't want to read these creations. In February 2004, Forbes magazine indicated that this author's fortune amounted to £576 million, making her the first person to become a millionaire only by writing books, and much richer than the Queen Elizabeth II. Also, she has won a lot of prizes because of her books: Goodreads Choice Award for the Best Fantasy, Laurence Olivier Prize for the Best New Work, Nickelodeon Kids Choice Award for the Favorite Book, etc. If you didn't have noticed, we are talking about J.K. Rowling. Goodbye!
This year, for the first time on the big screen.
Inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's successful story, The Resentful Man and His Cat.
The tragic accident caused by alcohol and anger. The story left thousands of people shaking.
black cat.
Come on, no battery. Well, tomorrow will be the start of my new life. I must be prepared. I must go home. Hey man, it's all good?
The Red Death had long devastated the country. No pestilence had ever been so fatal or so hideous. Blood was its avatar and its seal, the redness and the horror of blood. People were desperate and dying in a horrendous way. All they wanted was help from their prince, named Prospero. But Prince Prospero was happy in his castle and asked his knights and dames to confine themselves in his abbey. While in his abbey, Prince Prospero threw a masquerade and set up 7 rooms of different colors, but one was special. It was completely black, with windows of a scarlet color, just like blood.
In the midst of the masquerade, an unexpected guest appeared with a red mask, just like the Red Death, making everyone tense because it didn't have a body.
Today we have a former Danwich resident with us. Start by telling us what happened that night.
I like to start at the beginning. The workplace were always so strange. We always knew there was something really evil behind them. But there wasn't much we could do.
In a small town, the disappearance of a child becomes an adventure for his sister and her friend. Desperate for answers, they go on a mission, but ended finding their worst nightmares handled by it, the scary clown. They enter into a abandoned house where Pennywise is, but what awaits them inside is worse than expected. Will it be possible to maintain sanity and overcome fear?
saw something. There was this clown.
Bill, if you'll come with me, you'll float too.